I want these kids to hear me when I say, and parents will agree, it doesn't matter what you've done, your parents want you safe and your parents want you alive. You're not going to get into trouble.
Online safety expert and author Jessie Weinberger has been on the front lines of internet threats involving kids and teens for years. She travels the country, warning young people and their parents of the dangers online and in the palms of their hands.
This is stranger danger taken to a whole another level. I mean, there are a lot of bad people out there just lurking in our digital devices, in our kids' digital devices.
Right. And maybe the worst part, it's hard to pick a worst part of the top 5 worst, but sometimes the stranger's not a stranger. So sometimes the person who's engaging as the predator in these sextortion cases is, a revenge porn thing. It's an ex-boyfriend or an ex-husband, or it's a neighbor, or it's someone who knows the target.
The latest weapon targeting our children as young as 8, sextortion.
So sextortion is a way of a predator finding a target to ply all this attention to. You're the greatest, you're the best, I love you, you're my best friend, whatever, just until the moment comes where they then ask for payment, whether that's actual cash or inappropriate content or whatever. But the bottom line is that the person, the predator, is not who they say they are in the beginning. So just because it's sextortion doesn't mean you don't necessarily know the person. The child may not know that, funny face 25 is actually a kid in their English class. They might not know who it is, but they're acquainted actually with the predator.
Talk about the progression of sextortion, because the predators that are out there are patient and they take their time.
The first thing to know about sextortion is that this isn't based on any particular app or any particular place. It's really, and we're really talking about kids, so we'll focus on that, but it's really wherever the kid is hanging out digitally, whether it's a gaming platform, a chat within a game, or social media, direct messages, wherever, where they are accessible, that predator is going to pick a target. If a kid feels marginalized in any way, maybe they don't feel like they have a posse at school, maybe they're unsure of their sexuality and they're trying stuff out online just to see how they feel, and they don't feel like that's going to be well accepted at home or at school or among their friends, there's an even higher level of risk because now they're going to try to keep it quiet for sure.
The predators, they isolate their target and then go through a grooming process.
Right.
And gathering ammunition.
Absolutely. I try to explain to them that these predators are not just going to jump out and go, I got you. There's a process. So there may be individuals that a child is gaming with or talking to on DM where the conversation has never become aggressive, where they've only been nice, where they've only been kind, because that's part, as you said, of that grooming process. So then after isolating the target, that predator is going to try to gather as much ammunition as they can. They want to know maybe where the kid's parents work, right? Where they go to school, where the kid goes to school. Do they have siblings? What sports do they play? And it's all sort of couched in this very casual, sharing of information. Like if we're new friends, we're going to talk about our kids and our spouses or whatever. And this is casual gathering of ammunition is done very sort of benignly. Right, so the target doesn't know exactly what's going on. So I've seen cases all the way down to 4th grade or 3rd grade.
This is elementary school.
Elementary school. I mean, they're 8 and 9 years old, to put it plainly. So they have been preyed upon. They have been sent nudes. They have already been threatened. They've been sent gifts. They have been, the predator has used dating language, especially for the youngest. One of the biggest things I'll hear from especially 3rd, 4th, 5th graders is that predators on games will immediately start using dating language. And I always say to them, first of all, you shouldn't be dating anyone.
Weinberger says once the predator has gained the victim's trust, a switch is flipped and the threats and demands begin.
And now you're going to send me, X number of pictures a week, or I'm going to kill your family, or I'm going to tell your mother that you think you're gay, or I'm going to show these pictures to all your friends, or I'm going to whatever. And one very important thing for kids to know is that 2 things. One thing is that no one is killing your entire family. That's bananas. That's a complete fabrication just to scare you. The second thing about the getting in trouble part, kids are more afraid of getting in trouble than of their own safety, which is why they believe these predators and then don't tell their parents.
Shockingly, sextortion is just one of many dangers online, and some could lead to life-threatening actions against your child.
Now we're taking a hard turn towards sex trafficking. That could be one of the outcomes of, and not necessarily kid is grabbed and disappeared, although that happens, obviously. But sometimes it's tell your parents you're sleeping at a friend's house and I'm going to come and pick you up and you're going to, commit these sex acts for money. Only the child's not getting the money, the predator's getting the money.
So what steps can parents take to help prevent their kids from becoming a victim?
So if you do even a few of these things, you're really helping your family a lot more than what it would seem like. So the first thing is no phones under 13 years old. 0. They don't need a smartphone. That's where it gets crazy with the apps and whatever else. Secondly, no social media under 13 years old, which is actually a federal guideline. Gaming is okay. Gaming is actually okay as long as the parents are okay with the game. Physically take the kids' phones and tablets away at night. So at least have the phone, have the tablet in your hand so they can't do stupid stuff in the middle of the night. As parents, you need to put your phone down too. Kids are embarrassed by what you post about them. You need to ask your kids if it's okay with them to post stuff about them.
Weinberger also urges young people to do the following to protect themselves. Do not use your full and real name on social media accounts. Always make sure social media accounts are set to private. Your bios should be empty. Don't mention your school, your sport, or your graduating year. Don't cross-reference your social IDs. Don't use the same profile picture on multiple accounts. It makes it easier to figure out that it's the same person. Go through your followers. Make sure you know them. And when it comes to starting a conversation with your child about the online dangers,
you have to be ready for what you're going to hear. You can't freak out because they're going to shut down. And you have to have the conversation constantly. And it is awkward. But the more you have it, and to me, the more sort of obnoxious you are about it, the more likely they're going to be to talk back and to have the conversation.
Lastly, Weinberger has a very important message to young people who have been targeted and are afraid to speak up.
It doesn't matter what you've done. Your parents want you safe and your parents want you alive. You're not going to get into trouble. That's just a lie for the predator to get what they want. If you keep quiet, you only help the predator. You're not helping yourself. So you need to tell somebody.
It's not your fault.
No, it's not their fault. They're victims.